Hello, students. So this is where I picked off, or I ended with the last body paragraph we looked at, where we were looking at topic sentences, and I colored it blue. Um, we changed this paraphrase to come up here as the beginning of development, and then we discussed how this was development before the specific example. So to be consistent, I'm going to highlight that red as well. So this whole section is development, and the regular black is specific example. And then we have some analysis here that is dark red or brown red. Okay, so now I'm going to do something similar with another body paragraph. Before I get there, I'll make some other comments. So a student wanted me to look at one of his body paragraphs and focus on analysis, development, and specific details. So I will focus on this body paragraph, and I'll make it bigger so it's easier to see. But before I get there, I also want to talk about the title and this bold highlighted spot and this highlighted spot, another quote or paraphrase reporting language discussion. So here we go. So first of all, I just want to note that in the title, we have an adjective and a superlative. So the author is just going to have to make a decision. Do I want to make this a superlative title or use adjectives in my title? If you use adjectives, it'll be a non-specific article. If you have superlative, then you'll stick with the. So that's just a discussion that the author of this essay needs to figure out. Here, she adds that siblings are major parts of each other's. So you're major parts of one thing. So each other's, oh yes, or lives. Each other's life. It's each other's life. Lives, I think, would be acceptable here. This is a good question. I don't want to spend too much time on this, so I'm only going to go with instinct, not what I know to be 100% sure as a rule. I'm going to say life because each other only has one life, so I'm fairly certain that the answer here is life, singular. Okay, so now I'm actually going to delete the rest of the intro because we've um, talked about intros before, and I'm sure that's a wonderful intro. But I have not looked at that closely as an introduction. So I want to keep the thesis statement here so we can compare it to the body topic sentence. The author concludes that due to many reasons, as well as a link to the past, keeps siblings, so careful with your subject verb, keeps siblings close together. Just as Stark states, make that S, underline that for the author. Just as Stark states, my sister and I enrich each other's lives. Um, my sister and I enrich each other's life. Good question. We can have a singular plural discussion in class to answer this fully. But very clear thesis statement. This goes back to the question, and this answers the question why. And this is an idea that I hope will be discussed in each body paragraph, the topic sentence of each body paragraph. So let's look at the topic sentence. The most important way siblings enrich our lives. So here we have a very tight connection, is that they furnish us strong support and provide endless help to each other. So that's definitely an enrichment, I would say. That's very clearly an enrichment, so this goes together. This is a very good topic sentence. Topic sentences we did as blue. So we'll stick it as blue again. For example, so this is, here, let me make this bigger. So we're focused just on this paragraph, and it's easier to see. And then 13. 16. What was that? Yes. So 16 will allow us to look at the whole thing. And let's see if we can make it a little bit more spread out. 1.5. Yes, perfect. So this is one paragraph. Now, I know I made it bigger, but this is a very long paragraph. So when you have a paragraph this long, remember that your sections are sections. Sections can be one paragraph or sections can be 100 paragraphs, but you still have a controlling topic. And so yes, this is a nice controlling topic. We have a, for example, in the middle again. So let's just make that another topic sentence, just so that it's a little bit, the paragraphs are a little bit smaller, a little bit clearer for the eyes. So we have this for example here. So next we're going to look for development actually, not for example. I spent more than half my free time with my younger sister and I helped to get her to get dressed, to get a glass of water and find her shoes. Similarly, she delivered what I need and she supported and helped me cleaning up. In addition, we have gotten into the habit, yes, I did mean into, and relationship of the teacher and student. Whenever she had a problem in her school projects or doing her homework, she came to me and asked for help. I was her best teacher because I helped her in the manner she wanted. On the other hand, sometimes we didn't get along together, especially while we were playing with our toys, or we could not reach an agreement. So is this, for example, remember this paragraph here. I grew up in a big family with 9 siblings. They were always near supporting me. Does it sound familiar? To me, it does. And so there's no, for example, here. I think that this is background. So I'm going to delete this and say that this is background. And where would we end? I think we end here. I think this is all background. This presents a very strong case of the relationship. And here, then we have, for example, last week her car broke down and she needed a ride. So she called me to help for a bit. So this is one specific example of this where they're saying that they have such a good relationship and they support and help each other. Support and help goes back to the sentence, furnish support and endless help. So yes. So this is a very specific example. Subsequently, when I went there and provided her transportation, I'm pretty sure that my sister and I will continue visiting each other. So is this all example? Subsequently, I went there and provided her transportation. Yes, that's example. What's this? Is it development? I don't think it's example. I think it's analysis. So hopefully you thought so as well. So I'm going to cut this and put it at the end. And color it that brownie color. What was it? This one? Yes. And let's make this, oh, black. The example was black. In the previously mentioned article, Gold believes that due to many reasons, siblings don't ask for initial support from each other. What's this though? This is an example. So this again is, I forget. So let's go back here. The paraphrase went at the beginning before the development. But notice this time that in this one here, that paraphrase agreed with the example. So it makes sense when the paraphrase agrees with it that you have it first and then the example afterwards. But here, does it agree with it? Well, if we read further, we see definitely it disagrees with this, right? So in this case, I think because the specific example is coming up here, I think we can have a case where this can go here. And this is more development. Development with a paraphrase. So we don't want a period after the 44. We want a comma. And then we don't want a comma between the line numbers. We want a hyphen, a dash. There we go. And a comma after that period. The period here is because the L is hyphenated, abbreviated. It's become shorter just to an L, not the word lines. So this is stronger. In the previously mentioned article, Gold believes that due to many reasons, siblings don't ask for initial support. So this is going counter the topic sentence after we know that they have such a good relationship. However, I disagree with his beliefs because my sister and I always ask each other for support and help. And we know that because he just said this. Although this here is getting a little bit repetitive. And you could mention that you said this. However, my relationship with my siblings is different or something. Because this always ask each other for support and help, initial support, never forget each other's support. And this one here, never forget to, yeah. So this is like analysis here. So be careful that it fits here. This here, let's go back and have a closer look. Is this analysis? It looks a little bit like analysis. So the choice could be that you're analyzing your history. So that could be okay. But, and so you could have it here, and then you could have two mini sections kind of repeating each other. Or you could put all the analysis at the end. So I'm going to leave it like this right now because it's not a formula, right? It's flexible. But here I agree. This is definitely for example. For example, last week, her car broke down and she needed a ride, so she called me for support. So we've moved this down into the paragraph, and it's now supporting with what you disagree with, what the author disagrees with. So this is better, but have that comma there. For example, comma. For instance, is this another example? If this is an additional example, then I think an additional transition would be good here. So in addition, or also, or another time that we helped each other, or here you helped her, the author helped his sister, and here the sister helped the author. Or so one time when my sister helped me recently would be for these two. So they're very quick examples showing that this assistance still continues. She came to your house and provided with money. You could add some details here to show that she wanted to, that she did that because of your good, strong relationship. And here, not just because she's your sister, because some people might do this but still be angry with their sister. So we have two quick examples here. And then analysis here. One other point before I finish. This here, I think this belongs at the end. And I'll tell you why. Because here, this is weaker. I'm pretty sure that my sister and I will continue. So if you're pretty sure, that means you have some doubts. So instead of putting doubt on what you just said, I think it would be better to say this. So, and this is a while or an although rather than a however here. So like, although my younger sister and I both have family, careers, we don't have sufficient time to spend to each other, comma, not however, because you should have although here. I'll put although for the author, although. So that means no, however, but a complex sentence. My sister and I never forget to help and support each other. And there you've already said that, right? So this is an instance even now. We're up here, this is when you were children. Um, and here you're countering her point to say that later in life, siblings don't ask for help. Not earlier, but later. And you have examples to counter that. So I think this analysis is better here. And then we don't need this because you've already have better analysis. So this paragraph was a very good example of how all the pieces were here, but not necessarily in the order that they are now. So you can look for your pieces and say, okay, what are the different pieces in my section, and do I like the order? If you like the order they're in, if you think they're presented strongly in the way that you originally did it, then stick with it. Believe in your own writing. But if you say, well, maybe it will be more convincing if I change the order to be more predictable, then change the order to be more predictable. It's being predictable doesn't always mean it's more clear, but most often it does. So keep that in mind. So that's the end of this discussion. A quick discussion on this paraphrase. Actually, no, I'm going to end it here. You can have a look at this paragraph. So topic sentence, a lot of development, which includes a paraphrase. This time the paraphrase is after the background, the personal background, specific example, supporting the point that comes from the topic sentence, and then analysis, overall analysis. Very good. Hopefully you found this helpful. I will see you in class.